Welcome to my channel, Train, Don't Strain, with me, Mountain Jace. In this series, I want to demonstrate exactly how to target a muscle using the core tenets I expounded in my earlier Foundations of Fitness videos. If you haven't had a chance to watch them yet, I strongly encourage that you do. They will revolutionize the way you approach your gym training sessions. Ultimately, the goal of this channel is not to tell you what to do. There's no self-esteem garnered from blindly complying with another person's orders. Rather, I seek to open your eyes to the myriad of ways that you're currently failing to maximize the returns on your fitness investment. Beyond that, it's down to you whether you deserve to succeed using the insights I'm offering, or continue to underperform because that's the path of least resistance for you. So in this video, I want to focus in on the machine chest press exercise, which I believe is the best way to target the chest without setting yourself up for years of rotator cuff pain. The reason being, firstly, it allows you to fully isolate the muscle. And secondly, people, especially guys, let their egos dominate their brains when they use the normal Olympic bar to chest press, so that they inevitably cheat so much that the benefits they attain quickly go to zero. I've still to see a normal person stand up from doing this move and say, "My chest feels pumped like fuck." Yet I regularly witness guys arching their backs, locking out their arms at the top of the positive range, and then bouncing the bar off their chests, only to then go on and bemoan how much their shoulders are hurting them. I address these common cheat techniques in my series entitled Foundations of Fitness, explaining exactly why people do what they do. Spoiler alert, we were designed to do the most amount of work with the least amount of resource consumption, i.e. muscle damage. Because building back great chunks of micro-torn fiber requires a great deal of precious proteins and minerals. I also explain how mass displacement, that is to say, simply seesawing your own body weight through a fulcrum point created by your bones to lift an external weight, engages almost no muscle fiber and therefore does nothing in terms of making your body bestow performance enhancements as a result of intense muscular activity. Anyway, before I show you exactly how I train using the chest press machine, let me highlight those elements that, if ignored, will guarantee you only get 10 to 20% benefit from this exercise, rather than the 75% plus required to take the muscle into the debilitation zone. On this last point, you have to understand, as mentioned, our bodies evolved in an environment where food, especially high quality protein and vitamins, were scarce. As such, if you only engage 15% of a muscle's full arsenal of muscle fibers, the body will not, I repeat, not, say to itself, "Oh, I see 85% of Jace's biceps haven't been used to any great effect. I better make sure to build them back bigger, stronger than ever." It's not going to happen. Entering the debilitation zone is the only route when you factor in that a muscle group probably only gets trained once or twice in 7 long days to do enough muscle fiber tearing to ensure you deserve an upgrade in performance, if repeated over time. So, element 1, Pick a weight that you can succeed with, usually 30 to 40% below what most people are currently using. Get this wrong and you will have ensured failure even before you've completed your first repetition. 2. Make sure you use the 1:3 ratio of positive to negative range movement, i.e., however long it takes you to push the handles forward, make sure you command your chest muscles to fight to then take 3 times as long on the negative or return portion. You'll see exactly what I mean in a few seconds. 3. Never move any other part of your body, and especially not at the exact same point of each repetition, because this shows you're using multiple muscles simultaneously, or put another way, hardly any of the one you should be targeting. Be especially careful to make sure that the shoulders don't pivot forward in the same direction as your arms as you push the handles. Keep your elbows as low and as near to your sides as possible. That way you're not using the various pulleys in your shoulders to take over the work your chest should be doing. Energy, like water, wants to flow in a straight line. If your elbows are up high, there's no way the force of movement will do a 90-degree downward turn to reach the fibers in your lower chest. Finally, never lock out your arms at full extension and limit the time you spend near this point. That is because when your arms are straight, the force is simply traveling through the bones and avoiding the muscles. If you fully follow these evolutionary tenets, the following will happen. You won't be able to do anywhere near as much weight as you used to, because now only your chest is working in intense isolation. You will be breathing heavily because all the muscle fibers that were resting before are now engaged and thus burning great quantities of oxygen. And after 3 sets, your pecs will be so pumped that you absolutely couldn't do a 4th or a 5th set even if you were told to. That's what training success looks like. See my last video on this subject. Anyway, let's jump to me putting my muscles where my mouth is. First of all, let me just say I've edited a few seconds out of this footage. That being said though, from the start to finish, in real time it took me just over 6 3/4 minutes to take my chest deep into the debilitation zone. No staring at my phone for endless amounts of minutes in between each sets. No letting my body temporarily repair torn muscle fibers, so that in the next set I use the same broken ones instead of forcing my body to bring up the reserve battalions. See my previous video on building impressive 3D muscles to learn more about this. So here I am showing you what not to do, holding your elbows at the same height as your shoulders. That just allows the body to incorporate the traps and the delts rather than isolating the pecs. See how my chest immediately protrudes forward when I have my elbows down low by my side. I lift my legs off the ground to stop any thrusting by the body's biggest muscles, and so creating a seesaw action which whips the weight higher instead of me pushing it with my chest muscles. Take note how assiduously I maintain a 1:3 ratio between time taken to do the positive and then the negative parts of the exercise. See how low my hands are? All the fibers above this level are thus being engaged. I do 8, then drop the weight quickly by approximately 25% to do a further 4 more super strict reps. Notice that even after just the first set, my breathing has become elevated as my lungs race to replace burnt oxygen used through muscle firing. Before starting the second and third set, I have to reduce the weight I take for the obvious reason that I now have much less muscle fiber available to me with which to train. When you destroy something, you don't have more than you started with, but less. If you're constantly adding plates, set after set, that's irrefutable proof that you failed to take the muscle into the debilitation zone and are merely cheat training. A 100-meter sprinter can't get faster after running 5 races, one immediately after the other. See how I'm always in control of the weight, not the weight in control of me. I keep my head high and back to stop me cheating by thrusting my upper body's mass forward with perhaps a little abdominal crunching to help as I'm pushing the handles in the same direction. Elbows low, constant pace, not resting at full extension, but remaining engaged with the weight at all times, and absolutely no resting for 50% of the move by turning my muscles off and letting the weight on the machine push my arms back to the starting point. And that's it. That's how to kill the chest in less than 7 minutes, training the full range into the debilitation zone, as well as augmenting my cardiovascular potential. Think about all I have said here. If you want to break free from fitness mediocrity, make the changes I have outlined, and for the first time in your gym life, actually get on the right path to attaining that level of peak fitness you always promised yourself. So, now go do the right thing. Mountain Jace, over and out.